The Holocaust was a mass genocide of 11 million people during World War II. It occurred all throughout Europe, with German Nazis running the hundreds of concentration camps. It all started with Adolf Hitler, a young social class worker, believing that his race was superior, especially to Jews. He blamed the Jewish community for the problems during that era. Adolf Hitler became Chancellor on January 30th, 1933, starting his uprising against the Jewish community and eventually becoming the dictator of Germany. This picture may be hard to look at, but this is a mass grave and result of the many experiments done on the victims. The Nazi Party targeted the Jewish community, but not limited to any other race they felt were inferior, as well as prisoners of war. The treatment at the camps consisted of small daily food portions, hard labor, experiments on victims, and much more. Families were separated almost immediately depending on gender, physical ability, age, and more. Their belongings were taken away, even their clothes, and they were given striped uniforms with the Star of David on it. Many victims experienced traumatizing abuse by working in the unsuitable weather. As many people know, mass killings were done by gassing the victims in groups. Even though it is hard to grasp, the Holocaust prisoners experienced gruesome treatments all across Europe. With 11 million people killed, we can assume that not many survivors remained at the time of liberation. There were hundreds of different camps and centers across Europe. There were certain differences in different camps, such as having killing centers, specifically for annihilating the Jews. These killing centers were in Belzec and Treblinka and throughout occupied Poland. Other camps, although the goal was still to get rid of the Jewish race, were used for labor and, like said before, experiments. They had Jewish ghettos where the Jewish community were stuffed into small living quarters and given little to barely substantial rations of necessities. The camps may have differed, but the treatment regardless was terrible. America stepped into the picture later than they should have. They were notified of Germany's plan to wipe out the Jewish race and gave warnings along with the other Allied countries. They took measures such as boycotting German goods and eventually, towards the end, stepped in to liberate the prisoners. Roosevelt instructed to execute plans, programs, and measures formulated by the War Board, as well as to supply information and assistance. The United Nations has a list of what human rights are. According to the UN, human rights are a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nations, to the end that every individual and every organ of society, keeping this declaration constantly in mind, shall strive by teaching and education to promote respect. According to the many pictures shown, the Holocaust was a major violation of human rights, from the first article to the 30th article in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Holocaust was not the only genocide in history. Genocides happen all across the world and even in places that we are not aware of. The Khmer Rouge government of Cambodia killed approximately 2 million residents. The Khmer Rouge took control of the government, just like Adolf Hitler did, and started mass executions. With all of these atrocities occurring, how can you get involved? The United States Holocaust Memorial Museum provides you with countless ways to get involved, like donating to fundraisers, speaking out, and spreading awareness. Although we are far from genocides across the world, we can still step in by preserving the memories of events like the Holocaust. History is not something to be ignored, it is something to be studied, which personally is the best way to preserve memories. Although these are events of the past, we can take measures now by ensuring it does not happen again. Tell your family and friends about facts of genocides going on, donate to missions to end them, and even get involved in community groups to stop them.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made strong.